Girl raised by a robot tries to escape but soon finds the truth about the outside world. Today we bring to you a recap of the 2019 sci-fi mystery film titled I Am Mother. After a certain event that resulted in the extinction of human beings, in a certain human repopulation facility, there is a robot in charge of 63,000 human embryos. It takes out one of the embryos and puts it in the gestation chamber, where it grows into a baby within 24 hours. We then see the baby growing bigger and bigger, taking her first steps, practicing ballet, and making origami toys. One day she asks the robot why there are no other children, and the robot shows her the other embryos. 13867 days after the event, there is one human alive in the facility. The teenage daughter is having breakfast while watching some videos on her tablet. When she notices that the robot's hand is glitching, she fixes it. Later, she gets late for her ethics class where the robot presents her with a very difficult ethical problem, but she is distracted. When they discuss it, it becomes apparent that the focus of the education by the robot is the survival of humanity. The robot is worried as the daughter has an important exam coming up that will decide the efficacy of her upbringing. When she is watching videos, a power outage occurs and she starts looking for the mother robot. Finding out that it is also cut off from power, she looks for the problem and finds out that there is a mouse in the facility that chewed on power cables. She decided to fix it and even catch the mouse. When the robot finds out about the mouse, it shows concern for the facility's protection against outside contamination. It incinerates the mouse and decontaminates the airlocks. On the daughter's birthday, she receives a gift from the robot and even asks her if there is a chance that the outside world is habitable. It simply states that it hasn't been wrong before. The same night, she hears something from the airlock. When she investigates it, she finds out that a woman is calling for help from the outside. She leaves a protective suit in the airlock and lets her get into it by opening the outer hatch. But in doing so, the mother is alerted. It scolds the daughter and decides to take the exam then and there. Next, they're in a classroom where she receives a paper with 1 hour to complete the exam. But when the robot leaves, the daughter goes back to the airlock and finds the woman unconscious. She looks through her purse and hides the gun she finds in it before waking her up. The woman tries to take off her mask when she sees water while explaining that the daughter has been lied to. The daughter tells her that she needs medicine and hides her away in another part of the facility while she goes to look for the medicine herself. Meanwhile, the robot finds the mask in the airlock and incinerates it. The woman sees it doing so. When the robot finds that the daughter is not taking the test, it starts to look for it. The woman tells the daughter about the robot she saw, and the daughter says that it's her mother. The woman tells her that the robots who hurt her are like that robot. By the time the robot enters the room, the woman has taken back her gun, and she fires at the robot. But the robot puts her down regardless. The daughter convinces the robot to help the woman. The robot then interrogates the woman while the daughter waits outside the infirmary. But when the woman refuses to take the medicine, the robot leaves with the daughter running after her asking questions. The robot puts the gun away and tells her side of the story to the daughter. Even says that if that woman had shot her a little to the side, it would have destroyed her CPU. Later, she goes through her bags and finds a book in it, with portraits of people on it, and even asks the woman about one of the people in it. The woman suspects that she's being manipulated by the robot, but she tells a bit about the world outside. Then the daughter goes to have a long conversation with the robot, and the two of them then go to see the woman who is only getting worse and worse. The robot tells her that she needs surgery if she wants to survive, but she refuses any help from it. The daughter then decides to operate on the woman and successfully takes out the bullet from the wound. When the woman wakes up after the surgery, the daughter gives her some food and they bond over while the robot observes from afar. The woman tells the daughter about the other survivors and her previous life on the condition that the robot doesn't get to know about it. She also says that her whole family was killed by the robots outside the facility. The robot interrupts them and tells the daughter that she needs to take the exam now. Outside the infirmary, The robot tells her that the bullet she extracted from the woman is probably from another human shooting at her, since the robots use a different type of bullet. The exam consists of several aspects like ethical and psychological questions and physical and medical fitness. Meanwhile, the robot looks at the woman's stuff and leaves a tracker inside her bag. After the test is passed, it tells the daughter to pick any embryo she wants as her sibling. The two have a nice moment after putting the embryo in the gestation chamber. When the daughter visits the woman, she hides the weapon that she had prepared. She even makes the daughter doubt the robot and asks her to check the bullets for herself. The daughter does so later that night, only to find out that the robot is lying. She even finds records of previous embryos that the robot had raised and aborted because they were failures. She then finds a human jawbone from the ash inside the incinerator, causing her to break down. She then goes to the woman and they talk about how she had been deceived by the robot. They decide to leave the facility and get help from the people outside to rescue the brother, who will be out of the gestation chamber in about 10 hours. The next day, the robot catches the daughter packing up stuff and tricks her into locking her up in the kitchen, as it knows what she was planning. Then it goes to the woman, and they struggle while fighting each other. Meanwhile, the daughter escapes using her intelligence and even activates the fire alarm to distract the robot, and it works. They reach the airlock where the woman uses the weapon that she had prepared to take her hostage. The robot, seeing this, lets them get away, as she doesn't want the daughter to be harmed. The daughter sees the outside world and gets into a fight with the woman because she lied. Then they hide from robots in the fields. The woman says that the fields only grew half a year before that and made the air breathable. After a long journey, they reach a shore where the daughter finds out that the woman had been lying about other survivors as well, and decides to go back to the facility to rescue her brother. Outside the facility, the robots aim their bullets at her heart but let her pass when she demands to talk to the robot inside. Once inside the facility, she closes the airlock and picks up an axe to confront the mother about the embryos she raised before her. The robot lets her hold the baby once she drops the axe. She runs away immediately while trapping the robot in the door. The robots outside start trying to get into the facility, and the mother robot tells the daughter that all the robots are actually a single being with many bodies. It also says that its purpose is to create a better humankind. She has two options: leave alone or stay with the baby in the facility. She chooses a third option, raising the baby by herself. She says that it's what she had been raised for all along. The robots outside stop trying to get in, and the mother robot tells her that she won't be needing it anymore. She destroys the robot's CPU and cries while holding her brother. Meanwhile, the woman finds the tracker in her bag, and just then, a robot appears telling her that she has fulfilled her purpose, meaning that she was also one of the babies raised by the robot before the daughter. In the last scene, the daughter is seen singing to her baby brother and looking at all the embryos inside the facility. As always, see you all in the next one.